The best rap labels to sign to. It seems like the idea of signing to a label is more unpopular than it's ever been these days. There are some good reasons for that. There are tons of stories of rappers getting totally screwed by deals with labels. If you don't read your contract carefully, you can definitely find yourself trapped in a deal that takes advantage of you. All the recent tweets from Kanye about masters have exposed just how cutthroat the industry really can be, and independent artists are becoming wary. But that doesn't mean that it's always a bad idea to sign to a label. While there are certainly some labels out there that aren't great to their artists, there are also a lot of labels that support their artists and help them reach new heights. Labels can offer up financial support, advertising, help schedule tour dates, and a huge list of other benefits. That's nothing to turn your nose at. With that in mind, what are the best labels out there to sign to? If you're a rapper, there are definitely some that stand out. Signing a contract blindly is never a good decision, but you could do worse than join the team of one of these labels, that's for sure. Before I jump into this video though, please make sure to like it and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. It helps a lot. Now, here are the best rap labels to sign to. Number 7. Empire Distribution. Empire Distribution isn't your average label. Most labels out there sign artists because they assume they're going to be the next little baby, and then drop them a year later when it doesn't pan out. They expect every artist they sign to have a massive rise to fame that happens during a short period of time. But Empire isn't like that. Instead, they're focused on actually creating lasting relationships with rappers that exist over the long term. Formed in 2010, Empire has already made some pretty significant moves with the industry. Their list of artists is huge, and they've dropped records from major names like Snoop Dogg, Iggy Azalea, XXXTentacion, 50 Cent, Anderson .Paak, and more. But they've also worked with artists that haven't broke through to that level yet. They have a great mix of huge stars and smaller up-and-comers. But the coolest part about working with Empire Distribution is that they won't turn their back on you if you fail to drop hit after hit. Sure, they want you to get on the charts, but they won't consider you a failure if your music is a lull. They retain a relationship with artists like Dram and Rich Homie Quan, despite both of them being in a bit of a slump. As an artist, that really is the kind of support you want. Number 6. CMG. Here's a label that all aspiring rappers should know about. CMG, short for a collective music group, is mainly known for their biggest artist, Yo Gotti. He is also the founder of the label. In the grand scheme of things, CMG is still pretty new. Their first official release was Yo Gotti's album, I Am, in 2013. Despite being a relatively new label, CMG has already proven its worth by showing some real consistency in who they sign and the music they release. The CMG label is small, and it doesn't boast any bona fide superstars, but each artist on the label is a hitmaker in their own right. Moneybagg Yo, Black Youngsta, and 42 Dugg all call the label their home in the music industry. CMG doesn't jump to sign a rapper with a hint of potential. They're more picky. Hopping onto a label like this is a good chance to get a hit out there into the world while being surrounded by other rappers that know the industry quite well. Having the support of a rapper as big as Yo Gotti is always a plus, considering his connections to other people in the industry like Jay-Z. CMG is also like quality control in what they release label compilation records. While these albums may not fare quite as well as the Control the Street series, it's still great to see a label push the music of their smaller artists alongside songs by their bigger artists. They have a new compilation coming out this year, so all you SoundCloud rappers better send your resumes to CMG soon. Number 5. Grand Hustle. Most labels sign rappers that have already demonstrated themselves to be successful. They find the most popping rapper on SoundCloud or YouTube, see that they're unsigned, and get them on the roster before they release their next track that goes viral. But then there are those labels that actually manage to predict success before it happens. T.I.'s Grand Hustle label is definitely one of those. Grand Hustle has managed to grab several rappers right before their journey into stardom, making them one of the hottest labels to sign to today. Let's look at the history real quick. Grand Hustle was formed all the way back in 2013 by T.I. and a business partner of his. It spent the first decade or so of its existence as a subsidiary of Atlantic Records, but it has since gone independent. This is important for a few reasons. First, it makes it simpler for an artist to actually know what's going on with their music. Second, it means that artists are dealing directly with the people in charge of their music rather than working through a middleman. Now, let's take a look at the roster. They signed B.O.B. in 2008 right before he made the XXL freshman list the next year. They signed Travis Scott in 2013 right around the time he was releasing his debut mixtape, Owl Pharaoh, and 2 years before the release of Rodeo. They also signed a publishing deal with Iggy Azalea right before her career blew up. With a track record like that, it seems like getting signed to Grand Hustle is like getting a golden ticket to success in the music biz. Number 4, 1017 Records. There's something about Gucci Mane that is just utterly timeless. He's been in the game longer than most popular rappers these days, yet he's still never really fallen out of popularity. The same goes for his label. 1017 Records has done a great job of signing great artists over the years in order to maintain relevance, and it seems like the label is headed to a new golden age of popularity with their recent signings. Before I get into that though, I just want to take a look at some of the artists that used to be signed to 1017. The list is pretty incredible. Chief Keef, Asian Doll, Hood Rich Pablo Juan, Waka Flocka Flame, and even Young Thug have all had stints on 1017 that help boost their careers. You might think that that just points to 1017 being a label past its prime, but that's definitely not true. The biggest piece of evidence that points towards 1017 having a bright future is the fact that they recently signed Pooh Shiesty. His career only just started, yet all rap fans already know his name. Signing to 1017 has the benefit of allowing an artist to become part of a roster that has already achieved legendary success over time. But it also has the benefit of giving an artist a spot on the label that seems to be seriously ready for growth. It's one thing to sign to a label that is already at its prime, but it's even more exciting to be part of a label that is preparing to reach a new level of popularity. And you get to be mentored by Gucci Mane. What rapper wouldn't want that? Number 3, 10K Projects. If you want to sign to a label that gives you true music industry connections, 10K Projects is where you want to be. Casual music fans may not recognize the name of the label's founder, Elliot Grange, but people who know their stuff about music business will definitely know Elliot's father, Lucian Grange. That's technically Sir Lucian Grange, is known for being the CEO of Universal Music Group, one of the biggest music companies in the world. He's been called the most powerful person in the music industry. But what does that have to do with 10K Projects? Well, it just means that you're signing to a label that definitely knows its stuff. Being the son of the music industry's most powerful person, Elliot has endless music industry connections, and that's something that can make a major difference to an up-and-coming artist. Your management can be the best in the world, but it means nothing without connections. Signing to 10K Projects is like joining the music industry Illuminati, basically. Well, without the whole selling your soul part. If that's not convincing enough, let's take a look at the list of artists who work with 10K Projects. 6ix9ine, Trippie Redd, Lil Nar, Ian Dior. Each one of these artists had a seemingly unbelievable rise to fame. See where I'm going with this? I'm not saying that 10K Projects is guaranteed to take a rapper to stardom, but their track record is definitely strong in that regard. Number 2, Quality Control. Quality Control is one of those labels that most rap fans will immediately recognize the name of. That's because they are excellent at marketing themselves. Their label compilation albums are legitimate hit records, with Control the Streets Volume 1 and 2 both debuting within the top 5 of the Billboard charts. That means that simply signing with Quality Control gives you the chance to have your music appear on a compilation album that reaches millions of listeners. Talk about a good opportunity. With that being said, getting a spot on the Quality Control roster isn't exactly easy. While they definitely do work with smaller names, they are also known for having signed some of the most popular rappers currently in the game. Their flagship artists are the Migos, of course, but they have also signed Lil Baby, Lil Yachty, and the City Girls. Oh, and they also help manage Cardi B's career. You'd have to be pretty crazy not to want to get on this level of success that is bouncing around at this label. Quality Control also has another thing going for it that makes it a unique label. They aren't limiting themselves to just music. That's right, Quality Control has actually opened up to sponsoring athletes as well as musicians. They started Quality Control Sports in 2019, and they have since scooped up 3 different NFL players. This doesn't really play a role in the music side of things, but it just shows that this label is one that is full of creative ideas to get to the next level. Innovation is the name of the game, guys. Number 1, Def Jam Records. I couldn't get through this list without adding a major label, and there is none more deserving of a spot than Def Jam. It was founded by Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons back in 1984, and it has since achieved a pretty legendary status in the music industry. The list of artists that work with Def Jam is pretty mind-boggling, so let's take a look. You've got Kanye, Big Sean, 2 Chainz, Justin Bieber, Rihanna, Pusha T, YG, and many, many more. While we've all heard about Kanye's feelings towards labels in general, most of these artists have been able to work with Def Jam without a ton of drama. Even Rihanna, who has been focusing on her business endeavors while ignoring music for about 5 years now, hasn't complained about Def Jam. That's a great sign. In terms of major rap labels, you could certainly do worse than signing a contract with Def Jam. Just be careful with reading the fine print. That's where they get ya. So which of these labels do you think would be the best to sign to? What labels did I miss? Let me know in the comments. And before you leave, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to this channel.